Okay, I'm doing a second video. So, I will do a video. This one is going to be about, like what I said, black women, the way my experience has always been with them. I understand, like, I have a lot of subscribers that are black women. Man, I mean, my issue with the people that I was talking to were divested, were mammies. It didn't really matter. It was just a whole bunch of dark-skinned black women that seemed to have problems, especially the divested. Some of the mammies were actually willing to be like, no, you're black, and it's okay, and they accept it, but still they'll be like, you're light skinned and still treat you like that. Um, but then they'll try and act like I want to be white just because I was raised in a different community than them. How the heck am I supposed to talk like you? How the heck am I supposed to embrace things like you and be aware of things that you are in a community that I don't live in? I don't live in your community. I'm not, I'm, I've never, I've never been familiar with the hood. So why are you expecting me to be like you? If a white person said what you said, they'd be considered racist. So why don't you reconsider how you think of yourself? Because if you agree with a racist on how you think of black women, then maybe you have a really bad idea of yourself, and you need to fix that. You should probably fix that. So yeah, and then like I said, the divested community, it was like problematic because it's like, I don't know. I think the problem is for them is this, that I do act a lot like they act, but I also look like, I don't look like them completely. I'm not strongly black, okay? I don't look like a Serena Williams. But anytime I put myself in a celebrity look-alike, I can get Lauryn Hill. So I do look like some of you, to some extent, you know? So I never really understand it. Like, why people always act like I'm not a part, and like they want to be negative, but then at the same time they want to try and like um hold me only in a contempt way. Like I said, it's only for negativity. I've never heard anything positive about me being black from black people. Black people who uplift black people, they never would uplift me because they would just be like, it's only like it's just like a chain and ball thing situation. Like I'm attached to you only in a negative way. Now, why would I ever want to be attached to black people in a negative way? I only want to be attached to you in a positive way. But it's always in a negative view. Can you have anything nice to say about my blackness? Can you? No, it doesn't seem you can. It just doesn't. And somebody was trying to say that I was all positive for white women. I am not positive about white women's looks. That's the one thing you will notice about me. I've never said anything positive about white women's looks. And I would never really say anything negative about a white woman's looks. Um, White women really don't have to do with me. And a lot of the time I notice with these Twitter channels, they don't like white women. They have issues with white women. And I'm like, I don't like that they don't like white women. Reason why? Because it makes them look jealous. They want to be white women, and then it makes me uncomfortable because I'm like, hey, I never wanted to be a white woman. So I don't wanna side with you because then I look like I want to be white too. And I never wanted to be white. Like never. I only wanted, if anything, I wanted to be black. Like a dark skinned black woman thing. I've always wanted to look like them. Rather look like a Gabrielle Union. Last three, okay, the ideal look for me when I was like a 3-year-old was like Brandy. I always wanted to look like her. I grew up and got older and I wanted to look more like her and etc. 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 I never could achieve that. By the time I was like in my tweens, teens, I realized I'll never look like her. Accept it. Maybe you could look more like Jasmine. So to me, I was just like, that's just how it's always been. Like, I can't really look like that, so I accepted it. And it was easier to accept because of the bitterness from dark-skinned women who seemed like they were so angry that I was lighter, you know. And basically, I got a lot of vitriol when I was younger from black girls for no reason. Like, some of them were my color. Like, actually my color. They'd be the worst. But they would have these weird features, you know, like, they wouldn't look like they would look more unattractive, basically, um, facially. I don't know how to explain it. Like, not African features. Some people are would try and translate what I just said as African features. No, I'm saying that their features were like a big dorsal bump on the nose, like a huge, like a Jonas wife nose, basically. Like, actually white influence, not really black influence, in my opinion. Um, and like they would have just less ideal features than like a brandy or a pretty black dark skinned woman. I've never really gotten hate from pretty black women, really. I don't think, because I think they don't need to, because they don't really feel any insecurity, you know. And that's another thing about like why you say, like, with dark skinned black women and white women, you so insecure when it comes to white women. And white women are not insecure like you guys are. They're just not. I don't see them attacking. The only white woman you'll see being insecure is a white woman who isn't attractive, who is going after a black man. Sometimes, if she's overweight and she doesn't have black children, because if she has black children, she's not like that usually. Like mothers of biracial children, there's a difference, and just white women who fuck with black men every now and then is a different thing. And then there's white women who get their self-esteem off of black women. I mean black men, and probably black women too. I've seen that. There's one example, like I said, there's one example where this lady was mad at me. They always are mad at me because I'm thinner, or because I have bigger boobs, one or the other. And and in that case, she was mad because I was thin and she was fat. And she would use this woman that was my color who was wearing some like scary as fuck, blue contacts in the eyes, my color, blue eyes and blue eye contacts. And she would use her and black men to have a better self-esteem about herself. She hated everything about her life and stuff and felt unattractive, you know. And whatever. You know, it was what it was. And, you know, so in those cases, women like that would attack a black woman because he try and have some kind of self-esteem. But I mean, to each his own. I don't even hold anything against her. It's not her fault that some people want to be her. It isn't. It really isn't her fault. It's not my fault that some dark-skinned black women got mad at me because I was lighter. I mean, like, do you think I can tan myself to their color? No. It's not my fault. Um, do I use them as a form of self-esteem booster? I do not. Really, I try to boost them up. And then sometimes if they get bitter and stuff over being dark skinned, I might be like, well, hell, if that's what it made you, maybe I should be happy with what I got, you know. It does make me consider that, but does it make me actually, like, look for that? No, I've never tried to look for them to be insecure. I prefer a dark skinned woman who loves herself, accepts herself, and is okay with me being black, okay? Okay with me being in that idea, in that space, you know? That's what I'm okay with. That's what I like, you know? But a lot of dark skinned black women don't respond that way. And like I said, that's a lot of hood black women, I think. Um, One I was talking to that was mainly acting that way couldn't even say Arab. They said Arabics. They were like one of those ignorant, like ghetto, deep hood type black. And like I said, the deeper the hood, it seems like the more problematic it is in some sense. Like they have weird ideas of what black looks like. They're not really understanding of it. And they're just like small minded individuals. So that's just my experience on the situation, really, with black women. So I don't try to like uplift white women. I do not like acting like they are better or like I'm jealous. And showing that you're not jealous of white women is more than just saying I'm not jealous of white women. It's more showing by actions too. Like not just like being so insecure about everything with white women. If they have a nice hairstyle, you want to try and be like angry they can't have that hairstyle because they look nice or whatever. We look nice with straight hair. We look nice with curly hair. We look nice with blonde hair. I would hate it if white women went and attacked us and said we couldn't wear those type of hair types. And the same goes for when they wear braids or when they wear really curly hair or whatever they do. I don't really care what they do, really, in that regard. In any sense. Like, I don't know. White women I don't really have to deal with anyway. I, you know what I care more about? I care more about white men than I care about white women. Because, I mean, like, that's all I've dated. So, of course, I'm going to care more about white men. Because, you know, that might be what I end up with. And so I would have to be concerned. Like, if, for example, I hate when people are like, worship white man over black man. Like, I don't do that. Reason why is because I'm putting myself down. I don't do that. You know, I don't believe in that. That's one thing I won't do. Um, well, like, I feel like if you act jealous of white men, like black men do, they are putting them up. They know who's better. That's what they think, at least in their minds. I think, well, yes, they are better in looks, but are they better as people? No. White men aren't better as people. And I guess for me, like I said, I'm not from a hood. So I don't come from that. Like, I see day in and day out the worst of black people. I don't see the worst of black people day in and day out. For me, I've always seen the worst of white people day in, day out. I mean, come out the 7-Eleven and what do I see? 3 white people who look like they came from a sewer begging for change, okay? That's the kind of life I live. I lived in Vegas, Reno, and Grand Rapids. I mean, in Grand Rapids, I could have lived in a hood, but it would have been more like on, I don't know where, maybe like I don't know, Martin Luther King probably would be an area where there would be a hood. I don't even know which areas were hoods. I just know like Taft was more like a barrio, and 89104 was more like white trash, basically, or whatever, poor whites. I wasn't supposed to use that term. Oh well. Anyway. So yeah, like it would be like something like that. Okay. So anyway, yeah. That's where I grew up. I grew up in areas where it's mostly white and sometimes Hispanic trash. Like Hispanic trash often, honestly. I never even pay attention to that because of the way I was raised, but I don't even need to share that because some of that's just inappropriate. Anyway. So, yeah. I mean, like, I've never really put anyone above anybody. I don't see it that way. I think there's really messed up people. You will see, like, white crackheads, black crackheads, Hispanic crackheads, okay? Um, it Crackheads don't lose teeth just because they're black. All crackheads lose their teeth. Um, they all have the same problems, basically. There's no difference. And that's why I don't really believe in white privilege that much. I mean, I do believe in white privilege, but not in the extent that people say, like, oh, white people are living in castles and black people live in slums. No, I don't believe in that. Um, like I said, with like my environment, like I said, growing up, I was generally around white people because my mother didn't really want me around black people. So that's why it's like it's easier to be around them. But more than that, it's just like white people, white women usually are not as negative to me as black women. Black women, I've always experienced they're more negative. But I do like working with black people. Like I when getting like hired, if the person, the interviewer is black, I prefer it. I usually get the job, black woman that is. Yeah. So I have some like I said, I have no negativities towards black women, and I don't have any negativities towards white women. And by the way, I mean I've been hired by white women too. It's usually men. God, when is a man? I don't really get hired usually much because I don't know. I don't relate with them, or I think it's just that like men expect me to be a certain way, and I'm not like one of those women. Basically, I'm not very soft. And then men kind of get turned like not like they get confused by it, kind of like they don't know how to label it, and the men like to label things, so then they get uncomfortable, and then I'm hard to read and stuff. So yeah. But yeah, like I mean, like what I was saying there about black women versus white women. Yes, like I said, I've been attacked for my hair, been attacked for um, my face, my features, by black women way more. And white women, I've had it way more times that white women have cut me pretty, beautiful, things of that nature. White, sometimes even Hispanic, sometimes depends. Some Hispanics have this vitriol thing in them, women, and then others don't. It's always weird. I always ignore them. But yeah, I mean, like I've always had more positivity coming from white women than black women. I think it's like I said, black women have the insecurity issue already, kind of. Like, so then they don't want to compliment anyone, especially not anyone darker than them. I mean, lighter than them. And then they don't want to compliment anyone who is. They just don't. Like, lighter skinned girls, too, I have the same problem because lighter skinned women, it's always about this hierarchy thing. Like, lighter skinned women and me, we have it even harder than dark skinned. That's what I mean. People always say with dark skinned women, they're supposed to bully you and stuff. I mean, like, of everyone who's bullied me, it's always been light skinned women who do it the most and they do it the hardest. After dark skinned black men. Light skinned women will do two things. One, they'll be mad. They're like those mammies who get mad because I don't like a man. Like, what is wrong with you? I thought mammies were supposed to fight over men. Like, oh, you like the man I like. But no, you get mad because I don't like a dude. Like, what's wrong with you? Are you a girl? Come on, like, act like a fucking girl. Like, you acting like a dude or something. But seriously, like, they do sometimes. They get mad sometimes at that because I'll reject the dark skinned black man. And then, like, there'll be a light skinned girl mad because I rejected the dark skinned black guy. And it's like, what do you have to do with this? Is this any of your business? What are you doing? And they won't give me a chance to be really friendly with them because they'll be really negative towards me automatically. Like they're just so male identified that they might as well just grow a penis. Like seriously, you might as well grow a penis at this point. Um, but yeah, and then of the lighter skinned women that are problematic for me, it's usually the ones my color. The ones that are lighter, like I said, the lighter they get, the more of a better situation it becomes, and then it becomes like the whole situation with white women, where like it's more like you're comforted, you're okay, you feel all right that you are, you're comfortable with who you are, and you don't mind that, another person is attractive, you know. You're not uncomfortable with that. Well, black women, they do. They get upset at things like that. I don't know. That's my experience. And that, like I said, it's just different varying degrees. Dark skinned women have always been the best at it because we're far enough away that we don't have the same appeal. I've said this before that usually it's less of an issue, but there, like I said on Twitter, it was still an issue. It was definitely an issue. A lot of anger, a lot of problems, and it's like, God, I feel sorry for you that you're this way. But yeah, that's generally the only reason like I'm very positive towards white women. It's just like that they seem to be more or less not so hateful, towards me in an insecure manner. Like if you're just racist and you think you're better or whatever in your own mind or whatever, or you think white is better, that doesn't bother me, I guess, because I think black is better. So it doesn't bother me that someone thinks white is better because I think black is better. You get what I mean? It only bothers people who think that white is better. If you really actually think white is better and you're not white, and a white person thinks that is better, now you're really going to feel it. You're really going to be mad because you're like, I agree with you. You know, for me, I don't. And I'm not even gonna I don't rag on anybody, like, why I don't think one is better than the other, or I think one is better, like, I think black is better. I explain basically why I think black is better than me, dark skin black is better than me, and you can draw the conclusion from there. Um, but, like, for me, it's just, like, weird, like, people saying that I preferred white women. No, I don't. I don't attack black women, one, unless they attack me. And I mean, like, how am I not supposed to attack a black woman who's attacking me? You know what I mean? That's just natural for people to do, to defend themselves. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on this. I think I'm pretty much done. I just think, um, oh, also another thing, like behavior wise, like I said, my mannerism it's gonna be what it is because of the environment I grew up in. Stop assuming where I grew up and how I grew up because you don't know what my mom is like. My mom is 10,000 times more like the way you're saying than I am, really honestly. So, I mean, like, I'm gonna be the way I was raised to be, and I have nothing against that. It is what it is. I'm very proud of who I am. And I think, I mean, like, if you're happy with who you are, good for you. I don't judge how you are. If you're different from me, that's fine. But that's not a black way to be. Black people can be all sorts of ways. Stereotyping us just makes you seem like you're racist against yourself, which is no surprise because, like I said, you have more issues with white people because you have an idea that you are less than them. That's not healthy to be like, but I can't change you. You can only change you. And you can't really blame anyone else for you thinking that people are better than you. I mean, not even those people, because they should think that they're better than you because it's them. You know what I mean? Everyone in for themselves is how it's supposed to be. Like, you're supposed to put yourself at the top. That's how you should see yourself. That's good self esteem. Otherwise, you have bad self esteem. That kind of goes into one other thing. Well, I guess I'll be done because it's 24 minutes in. All right, done. Bye.